Hi, I'm Laura Bronner. For the last 8 years, I have been traveling around Mexico and eating all of the tacos that I can. I spent 4 years living in Mexico City, a year in Baja California Sur, and I return each year to explore more. I've been to 19 Mexican states and returned countless times to popular destinations as well as off-the-beaten-path spots around Mexico. After 8 years of making Mexico travel videos, I am finally making a packing video. In this video, I'm going to cover the main destinations that you might be visiting on your trip to Mexico, be it to the Caribbean coast, around Tulum or Cancun, Playa del Carmen, the central region of Mexico, around Mexico City, or Puebla, or Guanajuato, down south to Oaxaca, or over to the west coast to places like Puerto Vallarta, Puerto Escondido, or even to Baja. This is going to cover the lot. Depending on what time of year you're visiting, we'll talk about the weather. So if you just want to skip around to the places that are of interest to you, you can check the timestamps below or along the timeline of the video so that you can just skip ahead to the places that you're most interested in. Let's start with bags. Now, never say never, but I'm gonna say never. Will I travel Mexico with a suitcase, with a rolling on the ground bag? Because it's just not practical. I don't find it to be practical in most destinations in the world, but if you're traveling to Mexico, if you're going to be using any form of public transportation, in fact, if you're going to be getting around in any other way other than a car, then having a suitcase just is going to make your life more difficult. My go-to bag for when I'm going to be traveling for more than a week is my Cotopaxi 42-liter bag. It opens like a clamshell suitcase. It has a waist strap for when the bag gets a bit heavy, but I can also tuck the straps, tuck the waist strap, and then check this bag so that I get to the airport, I check the bag, and I pick it up once I get to Mexico. But it fits everything. I love this bag. Technically, it is small enough to be a carry-on bag, but I think the way that I fill it, it makes it just a little bit too big, usually, for it to be a carry-on bag. But they do a 35-liter bag, I believe, which I will link below to everything I'm talking about in this video, but especially to the bags so that you can see if it's something that might be suitable for you. But this is my go-to bag for when I'm gonna be in Mexico for a while, or Luke and I are traveling together. So obviously we put everything in one bag and he carries it. If I'm traveling solo in Mexico and I'm only gonna be there for a week or 10 days, I have another pretty budget bag that I got on Amazon. It's called a Lobardi. Again, it's a clamshell, it opens like a suitcase, and it fits more than 7 days worth of clothes, but not many shoes. I either have to wear my biggest pair and put my sandals in here, or stuff a lot of things inside my sneakers for them to fit properly. But this is a great bag. The only thing I wish it had was a waist strap. It doesn't have a waist strap, but I can fit my laptop, I can fit my camera gear, I can fit a week's worth of clothing, especially if I'm going somewhere super hot in Mexico where my clothes take up less space. So yeah, these are my two bags. Highly recommend. Again, taking a backpack is so much easier when you're getting around Mexico because you're gonna be hopping on and off buses, you're gonna be getting into colectivos, which are those sort of shared vans, and you're gonna have your bag on your lap or tucked under the seat. If you have a hard shell suitcase, it's going to be really hard to take these sort of more local, cheaper forms of transportation. If you're rolling it down a cobbled street, don't even bother. The sidewalks are, even in beautiful resort areas, are a struggle in places like Puerto Vallarta, Tulum. It's just not worth it. So yeah, unless you're going to be going from airport to hotel in a taxi and keeping your bag in that destination for the entire time, in which case a suitcase makes sense. But if you're going to be traveling around Mexico in any way, you're going to be staying in Airbnbs in more local destinations, then stick with a backpack. One thing I never forget to pack is an eSIM. If you have an American or a Canadian phone plan and you want to use it in Mexico, you often pay a daily fee of up to $10 a day. If you're having a 7-day trip, a 2-week trip, that's a lot of money to be able to use your phone as normal in another country. So having an eSIM is the perfect way to make sure that you stay connected, use a local plan, and save way more money. If you've been around for a little while, you know that I use NordVPN. It's a great security program that I can use on my computer when I travel around the world and work remotely. But Nord have just come out with their own eSIM called Saily, and I'm really excited to share it with you guys. Getting an eSIM from Saily is easy and affordable for your trip to Mexico, with options that include 1 gigabyte for 7 days, or 3, 5, or 10 gigabytes for 30 days, depending on how much data you think you'll need. Download and install your eSIM before you arrive in Mexico on an internet connection, and as soon as you land, you'll be ready to go. It's not just for Mexico either. Saily has eSIMs for over 150 countries, so you can save on phone plans and data wherever you're traveling to this summer. Head to saily.com/Laura Bronner to get your eSIM for your trip to Mexico now. So we'll go destination by destination to make it easy, starting with my beloved Mexico City. I lived there for 4 years. I experienced every season multiple times. And it's a great destination to visit all year, depending on sort of what you're visiting for. But if you're going to Mexico City for the food, the culture, the museums, it's great year round. From around November to May, even into June, you can get away with pretty much the same thing when visiting Mexico City. Expect that the temperatures will drop at night and in the morning, especially in the winter, in like December, January, February is kind of the coldest month. Know also that because it's not particularly cold there, most buildings aren't well insulated. Most of them do not have heating, so it will feel cold inside the building. So make sure that you pack layers. Ask about the bedding and stuff at the Airbnb or hotel that you're staying at to make sure that you'll be warm at night. But plan for like autumn weather in the evenings. So you'll want a light jacket. I usually pack a jean jacket. Maybe even like a windbreaker, depending on whether you're on the cusp of the wet season or not. When it comes to shoes for Mexico City, regardless of what time of year, I always pack a pair of sneakers. I probably wouldn't pack super white sneakers like this for Mexico City. Maybe black or gray sneakers would be a better choice because it's a busy, dirty city. Whatever shoes you wear are going to get dirty, but you absolutely, categorically, do not want to wear sandals or flip-flops if you're going to be like touring around. Sure, pop them on at night so that you can go for dinner in like some cute sandals or something, but do not tour the city in flip-flops or open-toed shoes because your feet will need to be washed at the end of the day. If you're visiting Mexico City in the sort of summer months, just know that from sort of late June, it can change even being from early June or late May, until around October, it's gonna rain almost every single day. If you come in like July, August, and early September, it's absolutely going to rain every single day. You'll get nice, hot, humid mornings, and then the rain will come in the early to mid-afternoon, and it comes like a tropical storm. I mean, the rain is insane. I have a really old video on the channel, which I'll put up here, about wet season in Mexico City. But you will need waterproof shoes. These are my go-to kind of like little Chelsea boots that you can wear. And they're cute, they're comfortable to walk in. I have inserts in them to make them even more comfortable, and they're fully waterproof, even once the rain stops, because you won't want to be out in this rain. There are puddles, the roads flood, the drainage isn't great, so just expect that you won't want to have, certainly won't want to have white sneakers, but you won't want to have sneakers that aren't made of leather maybe, or that aren't like fully waterproof. You definitely don't want to have sandals, you guys. For what to wear, think about layers, because as soon as the sun comes out, pretty much any time of year in Mexico City, the sun feels so hot. You need a hat, be it cute, be it whatever, you need to cover your head. If you're anything like me, my head gets so hot in the sun because of my brown hair. and I have a very sensitive head, and because you're at altitude, you're in the sun, you cannot deal with that sort of sunstroke, you guys. Sunscreen is an absolute must. T-shirt and jeans is good for most of the year, and then you might want to have some shorts or skirts to take with you. Very rarely is it going to be all day that you're going to want to be in like shorts and a t-shirt. At night, even in the warmer months, maybe I just got used to it, but especially if you're coming from somewhere where it's hot as well, the mountain weather comes in the evenings and in the mornings, and you just want that little layer, maybe like a cardigan or a jacket, a sweatshirt, something like that, and probably to cover your legs a little bit with a skirt or a longer dress. Yeah. Beaches in Mexico have similar climates regardless of the time of year. So whether you're going to Tulum or Puerto Vallarta, or you're going to Puerto Escondido, or you're going to Playa del Carmen or Cozumel, most of the things that you'll pack for these destinations are the same. Think about the heat. It's going to be humid, it's going to be hot well into the 80s and 90s, even in the winter. I was just in Puerto Vallarta earlier this year in January, and it was like 85 degrees every day, low humidity in the winter, but all these destinations are humid in the summertime. So shorts, dresses, I always make sure that the dresses and skirts that I bring are linen. I know people get upset about packing and rolling linen and how wrinkled it gets, but number one, I care very little about wrinkles. If my mom's watching, she's horrified. But I also find that if you wear like a patterned dress, like a stripe, the wrinkles are hidden a little bit. I mean, you're gonna be sweating so much. So even if it's not wrinkled when you start the day, it's gonna be wrinkled minutes into you wearing it. But yeah, I do the lightweight, the breathable fabric, super light colors, hat, sunscreen, chapstick with SPF in it. Make sure that you are protecting yourself with sunglasses. The heat down there is intense and it comes on quick. If you're in the Caribbean, you're going to be going outside and your skin is going to be instantly wet, which when you're coming from a cold Pacific Northwest winter is ideal. In terms of what's culturally appropriate, if you're going to be mostly hanging out in the resort areas, in the touristy areas of these destinations, you can wear the same sort of things that you would wear on a beach vacation in the US. You can wear shorts, you can wear cute short skirts and dresses. Nowhere will let you in like in your bathing suit that is outside of the beach area. So be sure that you are, appropriately covered up for restaurants. If you're heading to somewhere fancier, know that just like if you were going somewhere fancier in the US or Canada, it's pretty dressy. People are always putting on their best attire on vacation, probably nicer than what they wear at home. So you'll want to consider that, but it's really more of a personal preference. Unless you're going to a really high-end restaurant in, say, Tulum or Puerto Vallarta or Cabo, no one's gonna turn you away. Mexico is an incredibly casual place, especially in the tourist areas, so you can still go out in a cute pair of pants, which is always what I like to pack for winter in Mexico. Like cute, colorful pants, usually a white t-shirt, and my favorite leather sandals, which are comfortable, but when put on are kind of cute. I also always pack a pair of rubber flip-flops for the beach. The great thing about Mexican beaches is pretty much every beach in Mexico has beautiful, soft sand. It's very rare you're gonna find a beach, except for maybe in some parts of the Baja Peninsula or along the Gulf of Mexico, where the beaches can be a little bit pebbly, but again, it's not like rocky, it's not stony like some beaches that you might find in Washington or that you might find in Europe. You don't really need water shoes unless you plan to be out like swimming and snorkeling a lot. That's just to keep your feet from getting too cold in the water. Not a problem in the Caribbean, but if you are planning to swim in the Pacific Ocean, you'll want something to keep you a little bit warmer, maybe even also like an SPF top, like a rash guard, so that you can swim for a little bit longer, or for your kids to be able to swim in the water without putting sunscreen in there, because that's bad for the sea creatures. So yeah, when it comes to what to pack for the beach areas, just know that you're guaranteed nearly most of the time to have great hot beach weather. So pack your bathing suit, pack your cute, beach cover-ups, pack your favorite dresses and skirts, and sorry, I'm leaving the men out. But shorts for men, collared shirts for dinner, or even just lightweight, light colored t-shirts for everyone. Think about how hot it will be to wear like a navy t-shirt or a black t-shirt. And also think about the fact that you're probably gonna be sweating, so a shirt like this is not a great option either because you will see the sweat marks all over your body. I always opt for like sort of pale blues, whites, kind of like tanny, beige colors, which dry quickly and don't show sweat marks quite so much. If you're headed to Oaxaca, you can kind of combine what you might pack for Mexico City with what you might pack for the beach. It's not as mountainous there in the city as it is in Mexico City, so it doesn't tend to get such low temperatures at night and in the morning. And even in the wet season, it can be really hot. So plan accordingly. Oaxaca is a much more conservative city than other parts of Mexico. So consider clothing that is a little bit more conservative, maybe not super short shorts or super short dresses. Think about lightweight pants, like linen pants, or some slightly longer skirts and shorts. Not like, you're going to church, but just consider that the culture there is a little bit more conservative in the city, especially in any tours that you might do on the outskirts of Oaxaca, so that you don't feel like you're garnering too much attention perhaps. But yes, it's very hot. And if you're combining a trip from Oaxaca City with a trip to the coast, the Oaxaca coast is incredible and should not be missed. You can take a bus there. You can also take flights, I believe, between Oaxaca City and Puerto Escondido, and then rent a car and drive along the coast. It's beautiful there. And once you get to the coast, again, it's like any other beach town in Mexico. You can kind of enjoy, your favorite bikinis and bathing suits on the beach, and then some cute summer outfits once you go to restaurants there. It's a little bit more touristed, and yeah. Then there's Baja. It's a very big part of Mexico. So if you're talking about the entire peninsula, the weather can vary hugely from Cabo and San Jose all the way up to Ensenada and Tijuana. If you're going to be traveling in Baja California, which is the state at the top of the peninsula, it's basically like the weather in California. So it has cooler winters, sometimes gray skies, but not necessarily cold. You might get maybe into the 50s and 60s during the winter, and then in the summer it's beautiful, it's sunny. You get great summers that aren't too humid. And then as you head south, of course, into Baja California Sur, it's hot. It can get kind of humid in the summertime, but one of the things that people who visit Baja a lot love to say is that it's a dry heat there. So even when it gets close to 100 plus degrees during the day, instead of having your skin be wet, your mouth is dry. Every orifice is sucked dry of any moisture. So plan accordingly for like desert weather in Baja California Sur. You can expect temperatures, even in the winter, to be in the high 70s, low 80s, especially down at the very southern part in Cabo San Lucas and San Jose del Cabo. If you're going to Todos Santos, it is known for being one of the cooler places in the peninsula, even when the temperatures are super hot in sort of May, June. You can expect that Todos Santos will have a little bit of a breeze, it'll be a little bit cooler, and you won't get quite as severe humidity in the middle of summer there as you do in other parts of the peninsula. La Paz, Mulaje, Bahia Concepcion are all really beautiful parts of Mexico and Baja California Sur to visit, and you can pretty much pack like you're going on a beach vacation. Again, most of the year it is perfectly dry and beautiful, especially because it's desert weather. The only things to consider are The restaurants, especially down in the southern part, but also in Ensenada, if you plan to go to Valle de Guadalupe, where all the wine region is there, you'll want to feel a little bit smarter. That's why I do love to pack like sort of cute patterned pants and shorts with like a blouse or a linen shirt, so I feel a little bit more put together with a pair of, you can bring your white sneakers to to Baja. It's not quite so dirty there. You'll be able to brush the dust off. Just always make sure that you give your shoes a little shake before you put them on when you're in the desert, because scorpions like to tuck themselves in there. You don't have to worry about that at the resorts, but if you're staying in an Airbnb around Todos Santos especially, or that sort of coastal region, you may spot a scorpion or two. Packing for a trip to Mexico is pretty much like packing for any other destination. Wear what you love, wear the clothes that you feel most comfortable in, consider what the weather is going to be. Always check a couple of days before when you're just starting to get stuff together to pack, so that you know if it's going to be rainy or windy, to just throw in those rain jackets, those rain boots, and an umbrella. I hope you found this video helpful. If you have any questions about what to pack, let me know in the comments below. You never have to buy anything new for your vacation. Don't feel like you don't already have a lot of the things that will make you feel great when you're on vacation. The biggest part is having a good bag, good quality bag that is going to last when it's manhandled in the under the plane, if you're checking it, or that is easy to pick up and move around with you if you're going to be sort of traveling more around Mexico. Wear clothes that you love, that you feel comfortable in. That is what is going to be most comfortable when you're traveling around the country. Clothes that you feel good in, that are lightweight for carrying, but also for the heat. Light in color. These are all the most important things about packing for the heat in Mexico. And then if you're heading to the central region, anywhere in Mexico City or Guanajuato or Puebla, anywhere at altitude, Guadalajara, just bring layers. Prepare for hot, rain, sun, cloud, cool evenings, cold breezes that sometimes blow through from the mountains, and just enjoy your trip. Anything that you forget, you can get when you get to Mexico, probably for cheaper than you got it here. So fear not. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really supports my channel. Again, let me know in the comments, what do you always pack, or what do you always buy once you get to Mexico? Thanks as always for watching, and I will see you next time.